So many people are excited for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, myself included. I've been with this series since the very first game, so I can't wait to see what it's going to look like on the big screen. Now, what if I told you that you could satisfy your craving for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie for a bit by watching Willy's Wonderland? Well, I'd be lying to you if I said that. It's not going to satisfy you at all. In 2021, Willy's Wonderland was released, and the best way I can describe it is that it's a knockoff Five Nights at Freddy's. It's about an employee working in an abandoned pizzeria at night, and the animatronics come to life and try to kill him. But while Five Nights at Freddy's is a serious, scary game, this movie is insane. That is the only word to describe it. I was just sitting there going, what am I watching? The story, the characters, they're just insane. But the craziest part about this movie is easily the protagonist, played by none other than Nicolas Cage. Not only is Nicolas Cage the protagonist, but he doesn't talk once the whole movie. That's right, they got Nicolas Cage to star in this, and he doesn't utter a single word. Every other character talks, but not Nick. He just stares. So if you're interested in hearing about a silent Nicolas Cage killing evil animatronics, then you are in for a treat. An insane treat. Let's get into it. The movie opens with a video of the Willy's Wonderland's animatronics, much like the ones we see in the Five Nights at Freddy's games. We're then shown a man and a woman running around Willy's. They're being chased by something. The man suddenly gets pulled away. The woman keeps running, but the camera pans on this TV, and there's a scream and blood splatter. So yeah, she's dead. There's also a brief shot of a little girl hiding, watching everything that's happening. But there's no time to process what just happened. It is time for dramatic shots of a car. The car drives over a spike strip, and the tires go flat. The driver gets out, pops open the trunk, grabs some punch, and downs it. That's when we finally get a good look at who's driving the car. Our silent protagonist, Nicolas Cage. Yeah, so his character doesn't have a name, so we're just gonna stick to calling him Nick. A repairman shows up and tows his car into the nearby town, Hayesville. The repairman is rambling on and on about anything and everything, while Nick just stares at him.
Where'd you say you're from? Oh, you one of those guys don't want to look back, huh?
What am I watching? Why won't he talk? We now cut to a girl named Liv, who's trying to light Willy's Wonderland on fire, but she gets caught by this police officer. She cuffs her and takes her to this trailer park, which, yeah, I know that sounds weird. And it is, but we'll get to that in a minute. Because first, the repairman drives by and stops to talk to the police officer, while Nick and Liv have an intense stare down. So they drive off, and the police officer takes Liv into an abandoned trailer, handcuffs her to a pipe, and leaves her there. You know, last I checked, that's not what the police are supposed to do with criminals. Meanwhile, the repairman is checking out the car, and Nick notices a bunch of missing persons posters. The repairman tells Nick how much it'll cost to fix the car, but he only takes cash, and the ATM is out of order. The repairman asks Nick if he'd be willing to work in exchange for his car being fixed, and he agrees.
You willing to work it off?
They head to Willy's Wonderland and meet a man named Tex outside. He owns the place and is hoping to fix it up and reopen. He tells Nick that if he spends the night cleaning the place, he'll pay to have his car fixed. Nick stares intensely at the building, and Tex is like, you gonna do it? Because I have places to be. Why does no one care that this man refuses to talk? He speaks through stares instead of words, and everyone's like, whatever. Tex takes him inside and shows him the animatronics. He explains that the place shut down due to the kids getting hurt from climbing on the animatronics, and there were lawsuits. After showing him around, Tex says he'll be back in the morning and reminds him to take breaks. And let me tell you, Nick takes his breaks very seriously, but we'll get to that later. Tex leaves, locks Nick inside, and takes off because he hates to hear a grown man scream. Back to Liv, a bunch of her friends show up and save her. Ah, look, a group of young people with barely any personalities and names that you can't remember. I'm sure that they won't die horribly painful deaths that I won't care about because I don't know anything about them. They decide to head to Willy's to try and burn it down again and save Nick. At Willy's, Nick gets to cleaning. As he works, the animatronics begin to move on their own. But then his watch beeps, signaling that it's break time. Remember, Tex told him to make sure that he takes breaks, and he will do that. On his break, Nick pops open a can of punch and discovers an old pinball machine. He doesn't have time to do anything with it though, because he's got to get back to work. As he mops, the ostrich animatronic comes to life and sneaks up behind him. Nick notices it and smacks it with his mop a few times. It starts to move and says, "I'm going to feast on your face," and attacks. This was a mistake. The ostrich is not the predator. Nick is. Nick absolutely destroys this thing. He takes it down like it's nothing. After that, he just casually puts on a clean shirt and places the ostrich in a garbage bag. He tries to take it outside, but realizes he's locked in. No time to worry about that though, because it's break time. He gets some punch and starts to clean off that pinball machine. Alright, back to work. We get a sped up montage of him cleaning the restroom. When he finishes, he hears music. He goes to investigate and finds that the animatronics are on and singing. He turns them off and heads back to the restroom. That's when all of the stalls slam shut and you hear a voice say, "You'll never find me." Nick checks each stall and finds nothing. He reaches the last one, but it's also empty. Then the gorilla animatronic just appears out of nowhere and attacks him. But of course, it does not stand a chance against Nick. He kills it, stuffs it in a garbage bag, and sets it next to the ostrich. Break time! Let's file our nails and play some pinball! Oh yeah, woo! Liv and her friends have finally arrived at Willy's. They cover the place in lighter fluid, but before they set it on fire, they have to save Nick. He's busy cleaning when they knock on the window. I love that after everything, he is still determined to clean this place. Liv is like, "Hey, it's not safe in there. We're gonna get you out." He looks at her and just turns around and leaves.
"You're not safe in there. We gotta get you out."
What is wrong with this man? He's crazy. Liv decides that she's going to save him no matter what, so she climbs to the vents, but then the alligator shows up and they have a wacky chase scene. She falls inside the pizzeria and the weird human-looking animatronic is there and they have this awesome fist fight. It scrambles up the wall and it actually looked cool if it didn't look ridiculous. It sings and then swings down and grabs her, which I had to play frame by frame to even tell what was happening because it went so fast. Both Nick and her friends hear her scream. Nick heads there and Liv pops out, which really threw me off. I guess she's okay. She says that she took care of the human animatronic, but not for long. I love that they didn't show us how she did that. Nick just walks away, which leaves Liv confused. Well, at least someone is finally acknowledging how weird he is. Meanwhile, all of Liv's friends are standing on the roof, debating if they should go in and help her, when they suddenly fall through the ceiling. Liv finds them and is mad they came after her, but then the animatronics turn on and start singing again. Liv tries to stab one, but Nick shows up and stops her. They all walk off except for these two, who head to another room. Liv and her friends tell Nick that he's being lied to, and this town has a dark secret. Willy's Wonderland was built by Jerry Robber Willis, a sadistic serial killer. He and his crew would take families to the super happy fun room in the pizzeria for a party, and then they'd kill them. The police caught on and swarmed the place, but Jerry and the crew performed a satanic unalive ritual, and their memory and consciousnesses transferred to the animatronics. 10 years later, it reopened with new owner Tex, but there were reports that the animatronics were acting odd and would even eat the kids, so it shut down again. Does Nick care about this though? I don't know, he just keeps cleaning. The animatronics turn on again, so Liv and friends go to investigate, and you have to watch Willy sing about a chicken for a very long time. Then the night animatronic appears and stabs one of the friends in the back, killing them. They all freak out and run. Now, where is Nick during all of this? He's on break playing pinball, of course. The two that ran off earlier are in the super happy fun room doing the forbidden act that you should never do during horror movies, and the alligator animatronic is watching them. They don't care about this for some reason and continue, so the alligator attacks them, because of course it does! This guy with the glasses that I forgot existed gets eaten, while this guy calls the police. The officer from earlier picks up, and when she learns he's at Willy's, she just hangs up. But he keeps calling, so she gives in and heads there, taking this rookie cop with her. Nick finally finishes his break and saves Liv, who is fighting the night. Another kill for Nick. They hear the couple being attacked by the alligator, so Nick busts down the door to kill it. The couple is already dead though, and as they leave, Liv looks at them and says she's sorry. But I'm convinced that this is a line that they added in post because they realized Liv didn't seem very sad about her friends dying. You see, she doesn't look upset, she's not crying, and when she says she's sorry, the camera isn't even on her. And then she just leaves.
I'm so sorry.
Can you blame her for not caring though? I mean, consider what they were doing in front of an evil animatronic alligator. They were asking for it. Back to the guy who called the police, the chameleon animatronic enters the room he's been hiding in and is like, "People have always made fun of me. I hope you're different." So the idiot comes out and is like, "Hi, I am different. I'll help you move to the other side." And the chameleon is like, "Oh yes, please do." This guy is so stupid. He fell for that so easily. Why would you believe the sentient murderous animatronic? At the same time, the cop and the rookie are on their way to Willy's. She elaborates on the story Liv told. She says that after the place shut down, Tex tried to have it destroyed, but the contractor was found dead. Now no one wanted to take on the job of destroying the place, so they thought they could just let it be. But then the animatronics started to escape and kill people. They made a deal with Willy that they would feed them if they left the town alone. From that point forward, they would cause people to have car accidents and then force them to work their bill off by spending the night cleaning Willy's. But really, they were just sacrifices. One day, the officer found a little girl in there who was actually Liv. She was the little girl from the start, and the couple that died were her parents. So that's why she wants to destroy the place. Well, that's certainly a lot of information for the rookie cop to take in on his first day. Back to the idiot and the chameleon. Liv walks in and he's like, hey, we're gonna make a deal. And then it strangles him with his tongue. Nick shows up and is ready to fight, but uh-oh, it's break time. He runs off to play pinball while Liv tries to take on the chameleon. I am obsessed with how serious Nick is about his breaks. I also love that none of the animatronics bother him either. They respect his breaks. Okay, break time is over and Nick is back and strangles the chameleon with its tongue and drags it up front. But that's when the cop bursts in and points her gun at Nick, forcing him to drop the lizard.
Drop the lizard.
She unties it and apologizes to Willy. She has the rookie cuff Nick and then take Liv outside. As she's being dragged away, she yells that Nick isn't stuck in here with the animatronics, they're stuck in here with him. Listen, she's right. This guy kicks animatronic butt. The cop apologizes to Nick and leaves him there. Outside, she orders the rookie to take Liv to the station while she waits there to keep an eye on things and make sure Nick is sacrificed. Inside, the chameleon and human animatronics go after Nick while head, shoulders, knees, and toes plays. Now come on, did you think the handcuffs were going to hold Nick back? Of course not. On the way to the station, Liv convinces the rookie that what he's doing is wrong. He agrees and decides to turn around and save Nick, but this animatronic is on top of the car and strangles him through the window. Now I'm not too sure what this animatronic is or even what its name is, so I'm just going to call it El Chip, because it reminds me of El Chip from Five Nights at Freddy's for obvious reasons.
Siempre a sus órdenes, señorita Liv.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. So El Chip drags Rookie out of the car and kills him. Oh man, the Rookie didn't deserve that. He was even gonna do the right thing. Liv beats El Chip with a gun. With him out of the way, she heads back to Willy's. Speaking of Willy's, Nick is back to cleaning and the place looks spotless. He finishes in time for his final break and he goes all out. He's dancing around while playing pinball and downing his punch. And you know what? I respect it. He's gotta get hyped for the final battle with Willy. After that, he takes the trash out and the cop is like, what the heck? And he just waves at her. Okay, I'll admit it, that's kind of iconic. She points her gun at him and forces him inside. But oh no, Willy is missing. She starts yelling at him and is like, why couldn't you have just died? Listen, lady, Nick is solving your problem. He's killed all but one of the animatronics. At this point, just let him kill Willy and you won't have to deal with this anymore. She calls for Willy and he shows up, but he slices her in half. Now Willy actually gets the jump on Nick at first and knocks him into the ball pit, but that doesn't stop him. He makes weapons out of these sticks and a bag full of his punch and just starts beating Willy with them until he's dead. Nick has officially killed all of the animatronics. He is a legend. It's finally morning and the repairman shows up with Nick's car. He gives Tex the keys and he's like, it's always good to add another toy to the collection. That's when we see the human animatronic is actually still alive and clawing its way out of the trash. It sets its eyes on the containers full of lighter fluid that Liv and her friends were using. The two go inside and find Nick in a perfectly clean restaurant and are like, what? Nick takes his keys back and heads outside where he finds Liv. The two get in the car and drive off. Tex and the repairman start laughing and are like, oh my god, it's over, they're dead. They get inside the car, but the human animatronic sets it on fire, blowing them all up. Back to Nick, he gives Liv one of his cans of punch. She drinks it as they come across El Chip trying to hobble back to Willy's. They run him over and the credits roll. The end. What on earth was that? Do you understand what I mean when I say that the only word to describe this movie is insane? I mean, you've got Nicolas Cage, who for some reason never talks, and is able to absolutely destroy these animatronics. And he's not even scared of them. When he's not killing animatronics, he goes right back to cleaning the place. He takes his job very seriously, and his breaks even more seriously. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of did crack me up every time his watch would go off, and he'd be like, later, gotta go play pinball. Who is this man? I want to know his backstory so badly, but I never will because he doesn't talk. The other characters in the story are pretty out there as well, but good old Nick is what's really gonna stick with me. I really don't know how to feel about this movie because it wasn't good. And it wasn't scary, but my god, was it an experience. If you want to watch a movie where the whole time you're just sitting there going, what am I watching? Maybe check out Willy's Wonderland. Now that being said, I definitely hope that the actual Five Nights at Freddy's movie is better than this and doesn't involve Josh Hutcherson dancing around while playing pinball. But I think that is going to do it for me today, guys. If there are other movies or maybe video games that you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe to see more content from me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!